on our list here. This is something that I was introduced to at the Whiskey Society as well. This is the Black Art, but this is a different version. This is the 7.1 25-year-old. This is bottle 8380 out of 12,000. 1994 distillation, and it's 48.4%. And from the other Black Arts I've had, this is a delight.
I'm good. I've actually got a separate glass for every single whiskey here.
Oh yeah.
So I'm cycling through. I was on my Bruichladdich glass from the distillery. Now I'm moving on to my Pete and Meeting Early Scotch Club glass.
Oh, the one that says "Don't take this home." The Pete and Meeting one that says "Don't take this home."
Yeah, that one.
They're gonna come after you guys. This is you can't publicize this. This is
no. I've got an in with Andrew that runs the Early Scotch Club. He got his picture taken with Jack Black because of me.
Yep.
So he still owes me. But yeah, I'll put a wee bit of
I did the same thing,
stuff.
Stuart. I've got my Ardbeg in the Bruichladdich glass. I've got my Bowmore in the Lagavulin glass. It's all messed.
yeah. My Mortlock is in a Black Art glass, so I'm we clearly are not paying attention. We're not following instructions.
All right,
But
let's look at
yeah,
this
the Black Art in general.
Wow.
This is actually the Black Art was one of those whiskies that actually I found people absolutely loved, and I couldn't quite get it initially because it's quite a subtle and sophisticated sort of whiskey, and it took me a little while to kind of get inside and see all those complexities and pull them out. And I think that's a lot to do with a lot of the different whiskies that I've been tasting at the time. They were a lot bigger, heavier, and this is Black Arch is a beautiful whiskey that needs your time and it needs your dedication to kind of pull out some of the subtleties of it. So yeah, and thank you for bringing along the latest release. It's definitely up there in terms of all whiskies. It's something that I really came to really love eventually, and being in a couple of tastings and seeing some of them back to back. I think we'd agreed, Andrew, that the 4 kind of stood out in the past, and you're telling me that this might.
I think this comes close to the 4 in my memory. Unfortunately, my 4 is empty, so I can't compare side by each.
And this is it's not particularly strong.
48.4.
What was it? 48.4. Yeah.
Now, are all the Black Arts similar in strength? Are they all around that, or do they differ from one batch? Like how different are the various batches?
Well, I've noticed. No, I couldn't actually tell you in terms of the alcohol content.
Yeah, I don't recall.
I don't remember, but they some of them have kind of for me had a little bit more pronouncement, and the 4 was definitely one of those here was additions that had a little bit more pronounced notes as you were going through, and some of them kind of were a bit quieter. But yeah, the 4 for me, and as I'm about to hopefully find out the 7, were definitely more pronounced in terms of some of the specific notes within it. They just kind of like resonated higher, and I think probably the 6, I think it was, I was kind of like disappointed because everything sort of fell into itself, and it was harder to pull out a lot of that detail. But this has got a really kind of
and for perspective,
a really airy nose to this one. It's like it's typically Bruichladdich in a way, actually. Because
it's definitely got that Bruichladdich.
And having been there, and thankfully the Andrew and other people from our group have been going to Scotland every year, and I managed to hook up with them at Bruichladdich, and what an experience! And you can actually smell the place from the glass right now. It's quite incredible. I never experienced. Strangely enough, being Scottish and growing up in Scotland, I'd never been to a distillery until I met these guys last year. That was my first visit to a distillery.
Yeah, I've got a 5 here, a
Insane.
little 200 milliliter bottle of 5, and it is 48%. So
Yeah, the 4 was 49.2 and the 6 is 46.9. So they're all in that same range. And we don't know much about them because it is a secret recipe that Jim McEwen started and then passed on to the current distillery manager.
But the current guy has apparently done his homework.
This is
delicious.
Have you tasted this yet?
Yeah, I've just had a little sip. Oh my God. Huh. Definitely, as I say, it does invoke that kind of like sea breeze kind of thing. Certainly on the nose. There's just kind of...
At the start of the finish, there's some sparkly thing that I get from the Bruichladdich all the time. And I think it's maybe some of the white wine casks or the dessert wine casks that they use to...
Yeah, what do you know?
They don't say.
They don't say? No.
No.
it is. It's like that buzzing sort of like bees in your mouth, sort of a little bit of a... Yeah. This has a nice sour tartness to it that I generally like. When I've had Black Art before, I feel like there's more of a sweetness. This has, I think, a little more sour tartness to it than that.
It's almost like a licorice kind of thing.
Yeah.
At the back end of it.
Yeah.
It's after you've swallowed it and once the air gets in there, there's this thing in the back of the palate for me that feels a little bit like, you know, licorice or something like a dark kind of.
Mm-hmm.
It's.
I'll go that. But while it's in your mouth, it's
after.
Yeah.
oily sweet in the mouth, but yeah,
I'm reluctant to say that it does have that sort of black licorice flavor to it, because I know so many people hate black licorice. There are people, that's one of the things that people despise. But this, I think, even if you hate black licorice, like that wouldn't put you off of this. I think. You know?
If you hate black licorice, give us the bottle.
Give it to us. Yeah, that's a good idea.
Whiskey is one of those things. It's like and you get some tasting notes, and they talk about fish and stuff. And I don't eat fish.
Yeah.
Fish makes me gag from an early age, based on my mother, you know, saying you have to finish your dinner, and you know, and I threw up, and so I've never eaten fish since. And every time I do it, kind of makes me nauseous. But any time there's a fish note in whiskey, no problem.
Yeah.
Strangely.
Yeah, I've so many unusual flavors, like Andrew's, you know, lemons, or like I remember someone that I gave a taste of a scotch that I was drinking once said it was like burning tires and boots, like a big pile of burning. And I was like, I guess that's true. I can't disagree with that, but I still like it.
So good.
It's not, you're not wrong, but that's not all there is, you know.
And sometimes a taste isn't necessarily a flavor that you've tasted before. It's an emotion that you experienced before. You know, sitting in your granny's front room, kind of mustiness or whatever. I don't know, but there are certainly emotions that evoke things out of a whiskey, and you go, this reminds me of, you know, and it's kind of strange. It's like it's one of the only drinks I've come across that does that. It gives you that kind of, there's a memory sort of thing. It's like listening to a piece of music, and you go, I remember when you know we were.
That instant nostalgia.
We're all hanging out around the bottom of the road at the corner, and that song hits that spot. And whiskeys do that for me. They kind of like take me back to specific memories and some just a smell from it or something like that. And all of a sudden, I'm transported to it.
Well, I'm right there on the bay.
They do have like bonus. I feel like they put bonus nostalgia in whiskeys, and especially scotch. It's like that's one of the ingredients, is like gotta put some nostalgia in there.
It's like when you used to go to the movies with the scratch thing, you know, like we'll give you strawberries today. You know,
the Sensorama.
Yeah.
Scratch and sniff now. Oh, we're in the horse stables. Scratch this one.
Yeah.
Oh,
it is.
boy.
It is like a symphony more than like, you know, it's just, there's so many delicate little things going on in there.
It's like a dress suit, you know. It's got all sorts of nice little refined bits, but it's not flashy. It's not bright. It's just like, oh, that's a nice fabric detail. Oh, that's a good stitching exposed. You know, that's yeah.
It's interesting. And the whiskey's one of these things that doesn't actually change. Obviously, if you leave a bottle half open, it's going to change over time. But I recently, and I've already shared this with Andrew in the past, but the main reason that I got into whiskey, rather than just a straightforward, I need to get fucked up, drink, pissed, drink the cheapest, horriblest whiskey just to get yourself there. When you were about, well, that was probably when I was about 6 years old, but
that's not accurate.
It took you that long.
Well, I was a late starter. Interestingly enough, at 6 years old, that was the first time I actually had a big drink of whiskey, and I hated it because we have this drink called Iron Brew in Scotland, and it looks pretty much, if you have a glass of Iron Brew and a glass of whiskey sitting side by side, except for the smell, you wouldn't be able to tell them apart. They're very similar in colour. And so my cousin Gary, said, hey, Stuart, come here. Got a glass of Iron Brew for you. Take a big slug. And I took a big slug and nearly puked everywhere. It was a New Year party. And I never touched whiskey again until I was 16.
So you nearly puked, or you did puke?
Nearly.
Okay, good.
Nearly.
You kept it down. That's important.
I weathered the storm.
Yeah.
And got through it,
yeah, apparently the first words I said when I spoke were, I would like some beer, please. Those are my first words, according to my mom. I mean, and that's great, but it's also, I'm disappointed that I didn't ask for scotch. You know what I mean? Like,
you're young.
Well,
I guess I was young.
One of my son's first words was cheers. He would take his bottle around and just, clink
cheers.
Everybody else's glass and go, cheers.
That's adorable.
It was a great, normal. Yeah, I guess normal. But the reason I got into whiskey was a particular, because I didn't have that much money to be able to spend it on whiskey. And so you just drank whatever you could get your hands on initially. And my brother, when I moved down to London and I stayed with my brother for a while. He worked in St Thomas's Hospital, and they gifted him a 21-year-old Springbank, and I didn't know anything about this caliber of whiskey. And I remember we were driving over to his house, and we drove past his window, and there was this flash of light, and I thought somebody had taken a photograph. But when we get into the house, we went into the front room, there's nobody there. And then I noticed it was this silver box sitting there in the front lounge, and how we passed the window and how the light hit it. It just kind of like, And I went, I have to have something. I says, no, you're
I'm not giving you any of that.
Of course, I'm watching. You're not getting any of that.
Even though God sent you a sign that you should have some, you do not get
and
any.
I said to him, look, Ian, it was screaming out to me from outside the house. You have to let me try it. And I tried it, and it was just sending me to another world. I went, I have been doing this fucking wrong from day one. It was magical. And interestingly enough, I bought a bottle of this 21-year-old Springbank for a friend of mine who was leaving to go to Australia. And the group at work bought this bottle, and I got that for him. And he took it, and he brought it back not that long ago. This is like when I was living in London, so
20 years.
Like that's 25 years ago probably. And he brought it back unopened, and I sat, and he said, I brought this back for you, because he didn't really like whiskey, and so he brought it back and he gave it to us, and we shared it, and I shared it with one of my friends that was there at the time, and we were sitting there, and I was absolutely petrified. I was petrified to taste it, because I thought, this is what started me off in this whole journey. If this isn't good, what do I do? And so I'm sitting there, and the cork was destroyed, and so there was cork in it and everything, and it was cloudy, and I'm going, okay, right, try it anyway, and it was exactly the same as I tasted it the very first time. It was astonishing. I was like, Oh my God, this is it. This is still there. It still works. And it was exactly the same batch. So, and one of it's a really beautiful thing that happened to me when I went back. My sister passed away a couple of years back, and all of the group got together and got me another bottle of a 21-year-old Springbank, and we toasted her memory
sister
with it. So there's a lot goes into that 21-year-old Springbank. 1985, I think it was. I think in 1985, something like that. But yeah, fantastic stuff, and that's kept me on this slippery slope. And, you know, I'm not
the
sure
slippery
I've got
slope
any
you
money left.
gladly slide down.
I don't think I'll get any money left based on drinking this stuff. But and it's brought me together with so many different people. I have so many good friends. So yeah, there's something about whiskey. Whiskey's got this kind of allure to it that just I have never come across with any other alcohol. I mean, I love all other alcohols. Don't get me wrong. Any port in a storm, as they say. But no, whiskey does. It's an incredible juice. It really is. And we've met some great people along the way, haven't we, Andrew?
We have.
Some characters, for sure. And I get to meet you now, Joseph, as well.
I am also a character, some have said. Thank you for being on the show. You are kind of, in just listening to you talk, I just feel like you are an ideal guest. You're like, I feel like, because, you know, I created the show with Andrew, and I see now that, like, the secret spirit and guru behind the show really kind of is you. Like, like, he is like the second generation. He's like the Luke Skywalker to your Yoda, really. I mean, I now, like, I was like, he had some amazing, you know, Jedi powers, but he was no Yoda. Now I realize you are the, you know... No one can love whiskey more than you do, it seems to me.
Interestingly enough, the title for your vlog here is basically something that me and Andrew do all the time. We kind of, it's like we try and catch each other out. You go, hey, Andrew, I forgot to tell you.
What?
Yeah, what is it? I fucking love whiskey. And he'll do the same to me. He'll kind of like try and catch you. It's like, damn it. So, and we try and kind of get ahead of each other. And just like, I know he's going to do it this time.
Yeah.
Jump in.
And it's always good to find other people who haven't been to the Whiskey Society before and going up to them and going, I don't know if I ever told you.
Yeah.
All right, we should play the game on the show more then.
Yeah. But this is fantastic.
Starting with the Black Art, I feel.
Thinking that this actually beats out.
Oh.
You
know, it's so hard to know when it's like years between
it's been a while
tastings.
since I tasted it, but I don't know.
This is darn good.
Really digging this.
Like I got home and I tried this and I kind of sat on it for a couple weeks and I went to go get another bottle and there's none in LA. They're gone.
Yeah.
So obviously very popular.
No, this is delicious.
Mm. Oh, Slange. All right.
Ooh.
Well, we may take a little sip of water to rinse between those, but
yep.